Welcome to another episode of Dr. MC's Self-Care Cabaret Podcast. I'm Teresa Melito-Conners, a PhD level self-care expert in the greater Boston area who loves to help others take control of their health and well-being. Sometimes you meet people in life with whom you just click. Today's episode is a conversation with just such a person, my friend Karina Beltry. We met several years ago when we would rock the front row during Zumba classes and became instant friends. Karina's no BS attitude and style are so refreshing. Although she no longer lives in Massachusetts, we remain in contact despite any geographical or scheduling challenges. Back in the day, when Karina and I were showing up for Zumba, we bonded with a few other special ladies attending these classes, calling ourselves the Investments. I believe Karina herself came up with that name because some people are just worth investing your time and energy into. Karina is a wife, mother of 2 beautiful children, a model, and recently she began hosting her radio show called A Rhythm Lifestyle. I am thrilled that Karina was visiting Boston recently and we were able to see each other and catch up. This is my conversation with her, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's get started.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about your self-care practices and how you like to practice self-care.
So for me, self-care has a lot of things. It'll definitely depend on my mood. So self-care could be reading a book, right?
Yeah.
Just disconnecting. It could be a Netflix type of day, which doesn't happen often, right? I even self-indulge in YouTube makeup videos.
Nice.
Right? Because you know how I like to do my makeup,
Oh my
right?
God, your makeup is gorgeous.
So I will self-indulge in makeup videos. One of the things I also love to do is I write a letter to God.
Nice.
I write to God a lot. And I have notebooks lingering in my bedroom everywhere. Sticky notes. Because sometimes when I'm feeling, despair or stressed, I feel like I have to write it down. So self-care there. Now, one of the things that I started doing, and this was a long time ago before I had my gastric bypass, my doctor said, what do you want to do that makes you feel beautiful? So at the time, I didn't have a lot of money. So I started with skincare, right? Taking care of myself. So what I would do is take my time with my skincare, with my moisturizer and all that stuff. Now, it's a little bougie now, I'm going to say. So by the time I get out, I think I last more moisturizing than I do in the shower. Because it is the only thing that I know, if my life is chaotic that day, those 20 minutes are important. So awesome. If I can't do anything else, the moisturizing is my self-care.
It almost sounds like the way you described that, the act of preparing your skin and moisturizing your skin, it almost sounds like a meditative practice.
Yes.
Like it's almost like a meditation.
Yep.
And I love how writing letters to God, I mean, that's your spiritual domain. You are well suited in that domain. Achieving excellence. That's awesome.
I try.
And I know you mentioned a little bit about this, but I know you're a mom and a wife and a model and you work a full-time job. Yeah. How do you find time to put your needs first?
So I'll be honest, lately, no.
Me
and the hubby actually had a conversation, actually this morning, as a matter of fact, about, okay, Karina, you're filling your schedule a little way too much. There's no room for you, right? But when things were not, as busy, with the modeling and all that stuff, one of my self-care practices was literally spending time with friends. I miss that about us. Though.
I know.
I miss that about that, our investments. That's one of the things about being here is so bittersweet. I left a lot that I love behind. But I do spend a lot of time with friends when I can. And obviously with COVID, things have been more difficult. But as everything opens up now, I need my friends.
How long have you been in North Carolina? About 4 years? 5 years?
5 years. It'll be 6 years in September. Can you believe it?
That went fast.
It sure did. Yeah. So I got a cute little group of, some ladies and stuff. But, it's not the same. No one's been replaced. It's just an add-on to investments and, to the other friends that I left here behind. So my Bible study fellowship women have saved me. Because they're a different group, right? They're on the spiritual end, and I need them a lot. I do.
And I love that your husband was able to point out to you, and my husband does this to me too, when I'm not taking care of myself, or I'm spreading myself a little too thin, which is something I really try not to do anymore, but that he was able to kind of say that to you. You have that open communication.
Yeah.
So did you come up with a plan kind of moving forward, or?
So today, since he's brought this up today, as I was looking at my itinerary, because obviously April was insane, and here we are in May, and it's looking like that. So I literally started looking at, okay, where can I squeeze some self-care? Mother's Day is around the corner. It's this weekend. So I actually do not plan on doing anything.
Nice.
I'm not doing anything. What I actually wanted to do, and I think I'm going to do it, I have an event in Charlotte, and I'm not going to drive home right after the event. I'm going to get a hotel room by myself.
Nice. And really give yourself that break, those boundaries, physical boundaries there, and a break. And you may have to, as things move on, schedule time when you can do that.
I have to now, with the schedule being the way it is. Now I have to pencil in self-care, which is not something that I did.
Yeah. Sometimes, though, when things get crazy, I have to do that, too. It's like, okay, I haven't meditated. When can I meditate? Well, how am I going to move my body this week? When can I slot these things in? Because it's so, it just gets crazy. And these are the things that we let go when other stuff comes up.
Right.
That's awesome. So we've mentioned a little bit about your modeling, and you are crushing it modeling. And so I know you've struggled, because we've talked about this in the past, and with body acceptance and really getting comfortable in your body and accepting of your body. And I've been noticing on social media your hashtag own your roles, which I love. Okay. So tell me a little bit about this.
So let me tell you this funny story about how own your roles came to be. So I had a photo shoot in December with Denise. I'm going to name her Denise Taylor, a tutu for you. And it was a Christmas shoot. It ended up being a Christmas shoot, but also a couple shoot, right? I wore this white dress. And the dress looked nice. But she took a picture of the back of my dress, and all I saw was my rolls, right? And I'm like, oh, Denise, I hate it. And she's like, no, it looks great. I'm like, no. I'm like, look at all these rolls. And then and I was like, I just wish I can own my rolls. And she's like, that's a t-shirt. And I'm like, you're right. That's a t-shirt. We should have a photo shoot about that. And when I tell you that literally was the beginning part, because it is hard to accept your body. And I have a tug of war with it all the time.
100%.
All the time. There are days I'm like, okay, I've come a long way, had gastric bypass, and I've lost a lot of weight, but I have all this extra skin that I don't love. And I'm trying to love it, and I'm, and then now that I'm modeling, right, the pressure is even higher to look better or aesthetically better, so to speak, because, I would say most of the real women models, they don't have all this stuff. They're nice and full and voluptuous. And I'm like, well, I wish I could be that. But that's not my body. So trying to own my roles has now been the new journey, because I've teeter-tottered with plastic surgery. And I don't know. I'm still, but I'm really trying to own the roles, because this isn't... this body that I have now is proof of the battle scars.
Sure.
And I don't know if I'm going to lose my battle scars if I get rid of it. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. It does. And it is an internal tug of war. I mean, folks know I've shared this before. I'm in recovery for disordered eating and exercise bulimia and atypical anorexia. And I still have those struggles. I had it just recently in one of my latest photo shoots. I'm not crushing it quite as much as Karina,
I am. Not yet. Listen, once you get an itch, it doesn't stop. So
all right, well, there you go.
Keep going, sis. I'm telling you.
So, when I first saw the pictures, I really struggled and was like, who is that? Who's that in those pictures? That ain't me. And I didn't like it at all. And I was like, well, that was a giant waste of time. Glad that's over, and was ready to move on. The next day, I looked at the pictures again. I'm like, that's me.
Yeah.
And I look beautiful in the pictures.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, society tells us how we should or shouldn't look or what's healthy and what's not healthy, and enough. Like, own it. Hashtag own your roles. I think that might be the episode title. Own your roles. Awesome. I love it. And you also have a background as a fitness instructor. I remember back when we would rock the front row in Zumba.
You sure did rock that front row.
I got my Zumba certification. I remember you asking me about it. Next thing I know, you're signing up. You're doing all the Zumba certifications.
Yes. I still have them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. No, I still have all 6. And up until my injury for my neck, I was teaching Aqua Zumba for health treks. And I was teaching every Thursday. And sometimes I would fit in and do a Zumba class for, like a, I can't even think right now, but when, the original teacher wasn't there, I would be
a sub?
The sub, that's it. That's what I was looking for. Like the sub, I'd be the sub. And it was so much fun. And I miss that so much. But this neck injury that I have has literally robbed me from some of my joy.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. So so now we have this injury and this love of movement. So how are you managing to move your body?
So I've been doing sort of kind of yoga stuff by myself, right, at the house. But it's not fun because I'm a studio girl. I love being around people. I love having the energy. I love to smile. Or, when you look at the person next to you, like, oh, that looks so hard. And, it's just, it's you and the other person having the same facial expression because it's hard. Or in Zumba, in this case, you're laughing. Yeah. And I love that. I love the human connection part of exercising for me. And I know that, people are doing the Zoom and all that stuff. It's just not me. It's not in my heart.
It's not the same. I mean, no. I like it. I'm appreciative that we have it as an option. Yeah. And I've definitely engaged in it because, well, we can't necessarily go back to how we were pre-COVID in terms of, group classes and whatnot. But you definitely lose an aspect of that. Mm-hmm. So you're still able to Zumba down in North Carolina and a little bit?
So lately my back has been doing a little better, and I'm going to thank modeling for that, right? So with modeling, because I call myself a tree trunk, right? I'm so stiff that I cannot move my hips as much as I used to when I was teaching Zumba. But with modeling, you kind of have to move your hips to, strut your stuff down the runway or whatever. But even the shoots, the same thing with the shoots. You got to put your body in different angles and all that stuff so that, the pictures look right. So that's what made me at least do the yoga aspect of it. But as far as cardio, the walking. It's helped me the most. So my cardio comes from walking, and then the stretching is from like the yoga moves that I do myself at home. And it's helped at least with the modeling for me, since I'm not teaching, but it's helped with the modeling. So now, my strut is a little better. I'm able to pose a little better for photo shoots and stuff, but I am not at 100%. And and that's the part I'm starting to lose patience. Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how all this modeling got started. It seemed like shoot after shoot and magazine. It's so cool.
The three, the elevator talk about it. I'll tell you this. It started with someone from my church. She, she was a stylist, and she wanted to do a fashion show for the church, right? And she was like, "Hey, Karina, do you want to do it?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, Nicole, I'll do it." She goes, "Oh, you got style," because when you dress at church, whatever. Yeah. So she asked me to be part of the show, and I obliged. Had a great time, right? Met some people, and then I kept doing. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 more events with her after. About 3. And then sometimes I would do events and I would be the makeup artist, right? Nice. So I started getting into those little, local fashion show circles. And you know what? It was fun, because me, I like to meet people. I love makeup. I love fashion. I love beauty, right? So there you go. Yeah. So it wasn't a bad joy to find, so to speak. And I did it when I could. It never impeded with my job or my part-time job, but I loved it. So then one day I was reached by an agency, Haas Entertainment, and he's like, hey, I want to see you. I saw you at the BBU Awards, and at the BBU Awards I was actually an MUA. I was a makeup artist backstage, and he had heard down the grapevine that I had done a couple shows, and he was like, oh, you're pretty, maybe they give you, I'm going to say they give you the salesy pitch about how pretty you are and you have some potential and blah, blah, blah type stuff. And you know me, the positive person that I am, I'm like, what do I got to lose? Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. So, and that's a good thing to have an attitude of just, you know what? If you're not going to lose anything, why say no? Say yes, because you never know where it's going to take you, right?
Absolutely.
So I said yes. I signed the contract, and of course, COVID happens, right? Because that was literally in 2020 when I signed up. And I did, I think there were 2 shows that I ended up doing in 2020. And then as the summer kept progressed, I did more photo shoots, right? So I started, I don't want to say falling in love with it, but I started liking it a little more. It's just that COVID didn't allow me to enjoy it more than I could, right? So with this whole thing now that everything's opened up, I've been doing way more shoots, way more shows, and then I've been published in, I hate to say it because I don't even want to come across narcissistic. I've been in 12 magazines. Wow. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. It is cool. It's weird to say that, I don't say it a lot, but it's weird to know that I got published in 12 magazines. I mean, I think it was 5 in February, this past February alone. But it's all part of the journey. I don't say no. Let's see where it goes. It's still being told. But it's a lot of hard work now because now I'm in more demand now. So that's where the scheduling is.
I feel very lucky I was able to squeeze you in.
No, listen, you know what I was here for, and you know that I wasn't going to miss it for the world.
No, I know.
That.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
No.
I love that, though. I mean, you were open enough to receive a new opportunity,
right,
and be willing to explore it. And sometimes we tend to, wall ourselves off for our own defense mechanisms and our own protection, and not even let ourselves try. Like you said, what did you have to lose? Nothing. So there you go. Now you went on this journey. You're still on it, and it's unfolding, and it's exciting, and it's fun. And you look, at the very least, you look gorgeous, and you have these unbelievable photographs.
Right?
So it's win-win. I love it.
It is. I think that let's say for your listeners, just try something new. Try something new. Don't hesitate. Don't let I've never done this before. I won't be perfect. Who cares?
Right. Let it go.
Who cares? Just let it go. Just try something new because you don't know where it's going to take you. It might be a new passion, a new hobby. You might meet new people. If you're single, you might meet, a significant other there. It is just amazing how, life happens when you walk outside of fear.
Nice.
Growth is when you grow. It's when you're uncomfortable is where you grow. So get comfortable with being uncomfortable, okay? Because let me tell you, I've been uncomfortable quite a few times. Okay, it may not show on these.
Those shoes look uncomfortable in some of them pictures.
Some of them, honestly, no, they're not. I've found really comfortable shoes, but honestly, being uncomfortable at these shoots have not been easy. I'm like, but you know what? Who cares? You showed up.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I love it. Mm-hmm. So lastly, I want you to tell us a little bit about A Rhythm Lifestyle, because I want folks to know where they can find you and where they can listen to you. But also, if you could just tell me a little bit about how you got started with your radio show. I love it.
Okay, so another long, short story, right? Years ago, I was at a bar listening to jazz with a friend. Self-care. And for some reason, A Rhythm Lifestyle, I was looking at my Cosmopolitan. I was on the table, and the word A Rhythm Lifestyle, literally, it was like a voice in my mind. And this was what, 2017? Yeah, it was 2017. I was at a jazz bar. And the voice said, a rhythm lifestyle. And I didn't know what that was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what that was. Now, with, eventually, like, I think COVID has a lot to do with it. But, of course, a lot of people have had a lot of great things happen to them because of COVID. And, for me, it's been a blessing, right? So here you are, right? You got people that are looking up to you for like not fashion, but like advice, and I'm like, well, I don't mind sharing my story. I don't mind sharing my journey with people because, we're not alone. We're not. And I think the more we share our stories, and we stick together, the more we're able to help one another.
Right.
Without shaming each other. Because that's another thing, we're so quick to shame one another. And the more we stick together, I think the more encouraging we are with one another. I think that we women would be in a far better place and we wouldn't be beating ourselves up for it, right? So the Rhythm Lifestyle opportunity was someone had just put my name as like a reference. It's almost kind of like those people that do those vacation club, like those timeshare thingies.
Then they won't stop calling you.
And they won't stop calling you, right? So somebody gave my name to the radio station, right? And I'm like, who did this? But again, opportunity.
Right.
I'm like, so we had to drive all the way to Charlotte, and I was like, let's see what they got to say.
So the radio station reached out to you?
Yes, because somebody had given them my name and my number. So, I thought it was insane at first, but again, as long as all I had to do was go there, hear them out, and come back. There was no yes, no, 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 nothing. I'm just saying that, again, you were faced with an opportunity and don't let fear stop you from it. So I went, heard him out, sounded really good. And for some reason, again, the spiritual voice, whatever people want to call it, it said a rhythm lifestyle.
Was guiding you.
Yeah. And it came in literally that, that way. And of course, I had to have a conversation with God, talk to him. I said, okay, wait, God, wait a minute. I'm like, what, a radio show? Wait. I was like, wait.
Modeling.
I was like, modeling. I'm like, how am I going to do this? Wait a minute. I was like, what am I going to say? Where do I start? And I literally asked God, I said, okay, if this is an opportunity for me, you need to guide me, which is why I pray every time. Because most of the time, the words are not from mine. They're from him. If that makes sense.
Yeah, well, you're channeling that voice to help guide you.
Yeah, to have guide me with the show, or I have now I have listeners that will ask for suggestions, and sometimes I'm like, whoa, wait, I don't know, I've never experienced this this particular journey, and I will say, well, I will talk to God and I will ask for discernment, and whatever I publish, it'll be from him, something like that, but. The radio show was a surprise. It was not planned. And again, it was literally another gamble at life.
I love it. What did you have to lose? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
But no, that's so beautiful, really. Yeah. And a great reminder for our listeners and for me, because sometimes we forget and the journey sometimes is we want it done. We want to achieve everything and but that process and that really finding where you fit and saying yes to some opportunities and maybe saying no to others, but figuring out what's going to be best for you, but then taking that first step. One of my favorite quotes, take the first step in faith. Yep. The staircase will unfold or something like that. I might be butchering that a little bit, but
all right, we all got it.
Then that's what we have to do. Just start. Mm-hmm. You don't have to know the end journey.
I don't know nothing. I don't know. People go, oh, what? I don't know. I literally tell people, I don't know. Even with the modeling, I don't know. All I know is that I'm operating in a place of joy. So if it brings me joy, I'm going to do it.
Right. The moment it stops,
I'm done.
Stop. Then we're done.
I'm done with it. Yeah. Yeah.
But for now, it sounds like these are wonderful, wonderful opportunities. And I'm so happy that you're getting to experience all of this. And so I'll definitely make sure that folks know where to find you so they can listen to A Rhythm Lifestyle.
Okay. So A Rhythm Lifestyle airs every Saturday morning at 6 a.m. on WDRB Media. But you can also, reach out to me via the social media handles. It is Karina Beltry, Karina Beltre, both on Facebook and Instagram. And no, I don't do Twitter.
Me neither. I might have to at some point, but not yet.
People are like, you should do TikTok.
We should be dancing on TikTok.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't done TikTok. I'm trying. But you can also reach out to me via Gmail at rhythmlifestyle@gmail.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
here
you for
today.
having me.
It was so exciting and so nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I love you.
Love you too. Wow, that was so much fun. Our conversation really emphasizes the idea that we need to be open and ready to receive new opportunities. You never know where they may lead. Both Karina's modeling and her radio show happened because she was brave enough to say yes. As Brene Brown says, you either walk inside your story and own it, or you stand outside your story and hustle for your worthiness. Karina certainly owns it, and I love watching the journey unfold. What have you got to lose? Say yes to life. Be willing to try something new. Get uncomfortable and show up for yourself. I also appreciate how she recognizes that what she needs for self-care depends on her mood, and she has a lot of practices that she pulls from. It is so important for us to have a bank of self-care practices that we access. But like any bank account, you have to put into it as well. You cannot just withdraw from it, or eventually it will be empty. So try new self-care practices and methods as your deposits, and then you have more to pull from when the time arises to meet your needs. Some days you may just need to stay in bed all day. Others may find solace in a workout, and some maybe need to just do some deep breathing. The key is knowing what you need and when. And I love that her skincare routine has become a meditation for her. That's so wonderful. And I want to shout out to Karina's hubby, too. It is wonderful that she has such a relationship with her husband where he is super supportive, but can also tell her when she needs to take a break. I always say that open communication is key to a successful relationship. The ongoing tug of war with our bodies is so real. So many of us struggle with this. I want to encourage my listeners to think about all the wonderful and beautiful things your body does every day for you. Next time you catch yourself being negative about your body, try to express some appreciation instead. If you're the journaling type, try writing a letter of appreciation for your body. Oh, and hashtag own your roles. Thanks for listening to this episode. Remember to subscribe and rate this podcast on your preferred player. The ratings help us grow and share the message of self-care. If you have comments, suggestions, or questions, please reach out directly by emailing podcast@drmcselfcare.com. That's drmcselfcare.com. And come join the cast party at Dr. MC's Self-Care Cabaret on Facebook and Instagram at Dr. MC Self-Care, or on my website, drmcselfcare.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and love me across all my social media platforms for the most up-to-date information on self-care. See you next time. Stay well and do good.